Hey everyone, this is Kent and welcome. So I think it makes sense, right, that it's easier to learn a language if you live in the country where that language is spoken. For me, Italian, out of all the languages I've learned, Italian came the most easy to me, and that's because I live there. And so to do, most of the people I spoke with spoke Italian, and so had to learn to read, speak, write Italian, and had to do it on a daily basis. It was just part of my everyday life of speaking Italian. Here, in California, I do live in a very diverse city, Sacramento, but not all the languages that I want to learn are well represented here. So it's a little harder to be immersed in a language in a place like this. However, there's some things that you can do, and so I have a few ideas. Today is idea number one, using the grocery store to help you learn vocabulary. So here's a screenshot of my grocery list from a couple months ago. As you can see, it's in German. Oh, most of it was in German, at least what I showed on the screenshot. So I'm the main grocery getter in my family. So I do most of the grocery shopping. And a couple years ago, I decided to use my grocery list as a way of learning vocabulary, especially when I was studying German. So I have a couple tips to make that better for you. Tip number one, start slow. So I made the mistake, when I did this, I did it when I was studying Lao. And I made my grocery list on paper, and then I looked up every single word that I could in a dictionary, and I made my whole grocery list in Lao. And most of the words were brand new to me. And I get to the store, and I'm looking at my grocery list, and I can't understand. I've forgotten probably about 2/3 of it. So I'm spending half the time looking up the words instead of, so it got frustrating. So tip number one, start slow. I would suggest maybe doing one or two new words every time you go grocery shopping, not to make too many new words. The reason for that, you don't want to be frustrated by this, because if it's a frustrating experience, you're not going to continue doing it. So make it easy, make it a stretch. You're going to learn new stuff, but make it easy enough that it's not going to feel like a chore every time you do it, and you're not going to quit. You're going to do it. So number two, be careful about using Google Translate. I use Google Translate a lot, but it's not perfect. And there's probably I don't think corn dogs exist in many countries or in many languages. So I remember my kids always like corn dogs. So, do I look up the word corn and look up the word dog? Probably that's not what they would call them there. So I just write it in English if I'm buying corn dogs, because I don't want to learn the wrong word for something. Google Translate, great tool, not always accurate, not always super helpful. I use it a lot, but not when. But I'm careful when I'm creating my grocery list. And then I would also start with stuff you get often. So those are the words that are going to repeat every week. So brot, bread, milk, and it's awesome. So I love it because if I hadn't done this, I learned some new words in German. Like one of my favorite words to say, Putin Hackfleisch, ground turkey. You get that a lot, and I just love the way it rolls off my tongue. Putin Hackfleisch. It's just a great German word. Wouldn't have learned it if I hadn't used this technique. So try this. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it and what you think, or if you have any other great ideas to help you have language immersion when you're not in the country where your target language is spoken. Also, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. Thank you. I'll be back next week with more tips.